Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma friends, we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katami tayo dhamma pahatabba kama tanha bhava tanha vibhava tanha ti. Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma friends, we are little advancing along this particular discourse known as Dasuththara Sutta. So far we were discussing what are the three things one must cultivate in this dispensation. That is to say, the Savitakka Savichara Samadhi, Avitakka Vicharamatta Samadhi, Avitakka Avichara Samadhi. The kind of concentration with the applying thoughts and the discursive thoughts is the first one. The second one is no applying thought but concentration with the discursive thoughts or with pondering. The third one is without adverting of the mind, without pondering, kind of a samadhi. So after explaining these three, Venerable Sariputta is asking another question, what are the tayo dhamma pahatabba? Whenever someone is familiarizing, associating and cultivating these kind of three kinds of concentrations or calmness, three things being replaced or three things will be do away with. So particular the yogi or the mendicant should understand, as far as these three kinds of samadhi or three kinds of concentrations are growing, three bad things are getting rid of. So if you know each other, that relationship, as far as this is going, this is dwindling it off, tapering it off, disappearing. As far as the second concentration is developing, this one is disappearing. Third one is, when it is developing, this is disappearing. They are not happening in a linear system. It is happening in a completely, in a spiral way. So momentarily, one can comprehend. As far as Savitakka Savichara Samadhi is there, that means applying thoughts and the discursive thoughts are there, he or she is dealing with kama tanha, sensuous pleasure. Or in other words, we can say, as far as someone is understanding my immediate problem, or under the nose problem is kama tanha, the sensuous pleasure, nothing but I have to use applying thought and the discursive thoughts, or vitakka vichara, or noting and knowing. So, very understanding of that, the present mindset, or present cross-section of my stream of consciousness is crucial. And that understanding also, it is also three shades of tanha, three shades of desire. The very first one is called kama tanha, sensuous desire. That is much related to your senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. So anything related, any signal, any object or any impingement discreetly manifested through ear, eye, nose, tongue, body kind of thing, so much so you have to use noting. So much so you have to know it, not only noting, but knowing this is eye and the visual object. This is the ear and the sound waves. This is the nose and the olfactory signals. This is the tongue and this is the tastes. And this is the body and tactile sensation. And this is the mind and the Dhamma object. So as far as this is manifested into senses, you must understand if this is the disease, answer is noting and knowing. So, proceeding further, we may go to different spheres, different paradigms, and when and where you done away with this sensuous pleasure or sense-related meditation and done away with savitakka savichara, you are naturally dropping your methodology because you are temporarily healed, temporarily done away with, and then you must understand for this disease, this is the medicine. And when and where that is being answered within few minutes or maybe 30-40 minutes or within few seconds, the mind change into another kind of a concentration. At that time, you are applying another technique without knowing. So when to do noting and knowing and to recognize the next mind set or concentration, so to say, or what is happening under the nose, and change the technique. Don't expect the Buddha to come and help you. Don't expect the teacher to come and help you. You have to do it by trial and error. And then diagnosis must be under the nose, red-handed. And not only understanding or not only diagnosing and using the appropriate technology, also very, very radical, very, very electric, very, very spontaneous, very, very impromptu. So when and where you do it, next mind is not stop at that level, it goes to further subtle layer, and there no noting, no knowing. Go further. So the day you do it in a sequential way or in a appropriate way, in a pragmatic way, Dhamma exactly work equal you as well as the Buddha. There is no other discrimination. But if you misunderstand Kama Tanha as Bhava Tanha, whatever the technique you are going to use it, that means that the medicine is not wrong, doctor is not wrong, dosage is not wrong, but diagnosis is wrong, so much so you are stagnating in the same place. Ultimately you will make comments about the Buddha, utterly misrepresenting Buddha. You will make comments about Dhamma, utterly misrepresenting Dhamma. You will make comments about the Sangha, utterly misrepresenting. You will make comments about your own precepts. It's completely misleading. So therefore, when we are going into practice, we become very, very responsible. We are much committed than normal non-practicing people. So therefore, if you mishandle, immediate consequences. They are not lasting consequences maybe. They are not grave mistakes, but till you exactly understand the situation and giving the exact answer, is like fixing a jigsaw puzzle. You have to do so much of trial and error. When and where the power line, when and where the things get aligned, then the power transmission happens. No time aspect. Immediately it happens. So therefore, after explaining the three things that you should cultivate, the three things that you should develop, and three meditation that you have to do, the concentration, then you must understand they are related, corresponding with the three kinds of defilements, three kinds of tanha, or three kinds of desire, and they are working irrespective whether you are a male or female, irrespective whether you are ordained or non-ordained, irrespective whether you are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, because they are universal principles and the mind principles. So you may feel the value of this theoretical understanding. But the way of life we are living in our household, we have no chances to see these connections, see this theoretical understanding, and it's in it's a rationality. It's in the inferential way the Buddha presented, and you feel so much of grateful for this understanding, the mechanism or the circuit working, and put into words for our mind can understand, because our mind is utterly bewildered, and still how much compassion should have. The day more and more you get aligned, you feel who the Buddha is, what is the Dhamma is, what does it mean by Sangha, and how much it is important for you to have a moral restraint, and how much it is helpful for the concentration restraint, for the wisdom restraint. So I thought of today to see the relationship between kama tanha, or sensuous desire, and savitakka savichara samadhi, and this common world. This is what you call the society at large, or the world at large. This is the point. The utter basic driving force is kama tanha. The Buddha mentioned this as a kama tanha, the root cause, proximate cause, most powerful cause for our perpetuation is samsara. And understanding and trying to understand the same by the Western way, Sigmund Freud attributed the sexual desire, not the sensual desire. And that is, upon that only Western psychology is running. So he told our each and every action, each and every behavior is based on our sexuality. Sex is the driving force. The Buddha little give a furtherance. He says, it's also yes, but you can go further. Sensuous desire, sensual gratification, or indulgence of your sense organs. And for that, we develop constitutions, we develop social norms, we develop the society, we develop so-called civilization and rules and regulation, nothing but sensuous desire. And the rules and regulation works for the survival of the fittest. The powerful person crush the others, telling you are not up to the rule, therefore you must be jailed. You are not up to the rule, you must be killed. But the bloody hell, that bloody fellow also doing the same thing, but they are the people making rules. That's called the parliament. They are the Vivastha Dayaka. That means they make constitution for us. Do you think that they are constitution for our well-being? Hired paid people, giving the maximum this thing. And they are in the top class, and that is called the democracy. And we think democracy is fair enough. But utterly, it is the one-upmanship. They take chance. And this is exactly what happened in our consciousness. Consciousness make rules and regulation and everything interpret. Do you think it is for your well-being of the person? Never. And that very consciousness is the what we are sleeping with, we are getting up with, we are eating with, we are bathing with, we are doing everything. But that very consciousness is the most dangerous and always run to maximize the kama tanha. And as far as you know it, you can understand the society at large. Don't find fault with the individuals. They are succumb to the situation. This is the way it is happening. And that understanding is not a filthy thing. It's utmost important to see whole world running, and their constitution, norms, and rules and regulation, everything is for the kama tanha. And in that sense, West is much advanced. So we desperately waiting, I am very sorry to we recognize we are third world country, we are utterly copying them, because in behind we also have the kama tanha as our target. So we wanted to be a Singapore, or we wanted to follow the American system. We wanted to follow the Western system, and that bloody fellows come and teach us central economy. They are exploiters. They are killing we people. And come and teach in the university, why don't you prepare the central economy? We can come and help you, and then they can exploit us much better. So this is what the economy is today. That is utterly kama tanha. So if you are advancing, if you are progressing, according to the present measuring system, is nothing but you are much advanced in kama tanha. And your senses are very, very appeased and satisfied and contented like. But ultimately what happens is end up with AIDS, end up with cancer, end up with consumerization, end up with luxurious things, and global you are contributing global warming and pollution, environmental pollution, mind pollution, and end up with this frustration. And it is like a whirlpool in utter acceleration. But anyway, that does not indicate we are in a very serious situation, because this is norm from the beginning to the end, even during the time of the Buddha. Kama tanha is kama tanha. This is the way world is working. So you have to understand my knowledge, my rationality, my deductive thinking, my logics utterly on kama tanha. If you are going to say, no, I am coming from such and such parents, so therefore I am not kama tanha, that means you are camouflaging yourself, so accept this kama tanha. And if you are accepting the most gross form, or most manifested form, more outer form of this crux, of this matrix is kama tanha, then you have to understand, knowing with liking and with liking or disliking, you have to make use vitakka vichara. You have to make use noting and knowing. That noting and knowing is reductionism. You know whole kama tanha, you can understand. You can understand whole your verbal, physical and mental activities, because at the beginning, savitakka savichara samadhi is very weak one. So therefore you have to isolate representative, repetitive, neutral object and keep on noting. Within where you are noting, you are studying a representative atom or representative particle of the kama tanha, and you give your full attention, that means noting and knowing that particular thing. So the Buddha came out with this kaya anupassana, take your body, bodily posture. Or you can take 32 parts. Or you can take the elementary characteristics. Or you can take changing from posture to posture. Or you can take in-breath and out-breath. Whatever may be, 14 facets are there. Take the body and apply again and again. And physically you can see, or logically you can see, more and more your mind is with the bodily posture, or materiality, or here and now. So much so, physically you have done away with sensuous desire, hatred, sleepiness, regret and the excitement and the doubt. Because your mind is occupied not on the positive thing but on the neutral thing, repetitive application. So in order to apply the mind again and again, to keep the stream of consciousness fairly in the neutral form, apply again and again. You see how difficult it is. Even though it is logically correct, even though it is cutting through, it's difficult because our mind says, how do I know that it is the only method? Why should I take wholehearted noting and knowing? So therefore that doubt itself is make you half-hearted. You never apply full-fledged. You do part-time job. You never give the complete attention. So it's a natural thing. It is not a mistake. So therefore teachers, when they are considering, when they are passing the message to disciple, they have to sympathize them. That is the way. Because there are 1001 methods. How one can understand Savitakka Savichara Samadhi is the only thing, that's the starting point. What is the assurance that it is leading? How can you verify it? And How can you make sure under your very nose? Because even the Maha Sayadaw accept it. One moment if you keep your attention in the body or maybe breath, at that very moment you don't know whether you achieved something or not. You are successful or not. At that very moment, you can't verify it. In order to have the least kind of verification, you must have consecutively 3, 4, 5 thought moments. Be mindful, then only that chunk of thought moments can make a verifiable difference. So 1 split second, you can't. And now in the West, Richard Davidson, he says, the full of frustration, full of pollution, environmental and mental pollution, everything happening. So there's a grave problem came to him. If there is a method to do away with, to answer this frustration and to go there, he had a very difficult task to get a person with substantial results. So he seek the help of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama gave 12 people, 12 lamas. They have practiced so long, and it happened, it seems, to Richard Davidson to bring all the gadgets to the Himalaya and climb top of the mountain to meet that particular Lama and says, I wish to do brain scanning to see what is the difference of your brain and the other sensuous beings. So even though they recommended by Dalai Lama, he visited the place. All the 12 lamas, practitioners told, no, it is disturbing our present moment and we become popular. That is the end of our career. So individually all the 12 denied. So he came back. He told, when and where you are dealing with lack of frustration, lack of tension, be here and now, they are not happy to be a subject in the modern research. Utter failure. Then again he went and told Dalai Lama told, I am sorry to say, I am not a good practitioner, so my brain is useless. So according to your enthusiasm, again I will give 3, and I will personally advise them, please help that man. And they were doing Tumbo Bhavana according to the Richard Davidson, and they can sit in the naked on the ice in the Tibet, and tomorrow morning they can make so much of ice melting, and he is in the pool of water tomorrow morning because of he know how to make heat. Or 3 bed sheets wet with ice cold water and put upon that particular person, he can dry 3 bed sheets overnight. And then he did functional MRI scan, Richard Davidson, and he found normal person run by this Kamatanna, their left brain is the active part, right brain never make any activity. That is the Kamatanna people. That is the normal. In the medical science, they know only Kamatanna people. For the first time, 2 out of these 3 Dalai Lamas given for the second time, they found the right brain is working. Right brain is illuminated. Left brain is not working. So it was the first time in the medical history, healthy person put into a MRI scan. So far, only sick people put, research person also sick, machine also sick, and that is what you call science, and that is what you call the health. For the first time, a healthy person put into the machine, out of 3, 2 reported, right brain is working. It's a miraculous. It's a miraculous. Then he went again to the Lama as well as to the Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is the chief, you know. Bhante, this is unbelievable. How that happened? Because we thought as a norm, human brain, only the left is working. But there are no examples. But here I found right brain is working. Dalai Lama told, it is simple. What do you mean by simple? No, meditate over 10,000 hours above 10,000 hours, brain is shifting to the left to the right. And the Richard Davidson can't believe how one can allocate 10,000 hours of meditation in American standard. They dropped the idea. And then he had a very demanding patience, so he wanted to come out something. So he then asked again his own assistants, and close by Bahre, Massachusetts, you have the Inside Meditation Society. And after consulting, he says, not the shifting from left to the right, any kind of a change or starting point of the change, when can that happen? For that, how much you must meditate, non-residential, continuously. And with a long experimenting, they found 3 months' time, some changes can happen in their behavior, in their the penetrating capacity, in their concentration. And then also he says he hesitated, how the hell in America one can say you have to take 3 months consecutive the residential retreat? Impossible. But anyway, he never gave up. Again he went on, and he told, if given meditation center atmosphere, and the meditation, in fact, the instructors are there, everything given, and then if you are practicing, what is the minimum time for that particular person to understand some changes is happening, to convince or verify? He says 3 10-day retreats. After doing the 3 10-day retreats, he published the first paper. And it worked. Worked to a Canadian girl. She became the best person swimmer. And she underwent a serious difficulty, and she was completely broken down, and she underwent 2 10-day retreats, and she recovered. And Canadian British Broadcasting Corporation interviewed her, an article published in 90s, and then Richard Davidson became the scientist, and they told, if you can practice 3 10-day retreats, then the practitioner, it knows this kind of relationship, they can feel, they can experience, they can verify. He continued. Now, about 30 odd number of years, Mind and Life organization is running. Now he can say the difference between 1 hour meditation and not. 2 hours meditation, what are the differences? What are the changes can happen? So they are developing so much of refining the changes. And he's each and every conference, symposium, he presented to His Holiness Dalai Lama, and he's the happiest. If you sit 1 hour, if you are applying, and the applying thought and the discursive thought, how much Kama Dhanna subside. They are not talking in terms of Vitakka, Vichara and Kama Dhanna. They have their own criterion in neuroscientific way, and now they can directly prove, if you keep your attention with one single object, so much so, your sensuous desire goes down. And it's a challenge. And they are also doing, they are prescribing, and any person can take it up, and it is free of charge. And you can practice. But writing the book, Emotional Life of Your Brain, he says, it's a still strange, being it is so proven by science, why only so much or little fraction of people even come out for the experimenting, but no one concerned even this as a fair challenge or something beneficial to do meditation. He says, majority never do meditate, even this Vitakka Vichara method is valid and proven, no one is doing, because they are so much behind Kama Tanha. Simply they did not wish to have lack of kama tanha. They are ever promoting kama tanha. And they know definitely end up with the frustration. Definitely end up with consumerization. Definitely end up with mental tension. And he says, I was success in designing an experiment to see even the slight changes in 1 hour to 2 hours like meditation differences, but I can't even design an experiment why people are not doing it. It's such a question because it's a free of charge. Proven that they are not doing. So you have to understand the gravity of kama tanha. We are morning to evening driven by kama tanha. And we never accept it. And we never believe this noting and knowing is the way out. It's a sure method. But we seek different kind of magics. We are waiting for Maitreya Buddha to come. And we do other dana ceremonies, pinkama. Buddhists are doing that, and the Western people they think technology will one day give the unified theory, and then everyone will be at peace, and technology will answer, and both exactly the two sides of the same coin. Being it is so practical, being it is so verified, being it is so proven, it's a utter important question. But no one takes serious because we are born out of kama tanha. We are living in kama tanha. We are ending up with kama tanha. We never even try to challenge it. If we take this is our prime task to do it, then the answer is there, vitakka vichara. Now we take these people inside this roof. We know it. Suppose we know it. But see how difficult to keep the attention in one object. Leave aside the people, those who are not taken as a challenge. Kama tanha is not a problem for them. They are not diagnosed even. And they do not know the Buddha came and mindfulness is there and noting, knowing and there and the Western people also fighting and never mind. They never think about. And with compared to that, when we try to do it, see how difficult it is. Not that task is difficult, because we don't believe, we don't have saddha. We are doubtful, always we doubt, is this the correct method, is the only method, meditation master, is this the correct center. And we have so much of doubts, unfortunately, the doubts pervert as knowledge. Your doubt consider as the knowledge. So that is what the creation story of the Bible. Don't doubt God, don't go behind the knowledge, then you are deprived of the paradise. You are no more innocent. So how to go back to the innocence? Faith. Don't doubt. But you see, it is not, once you become Sotapanna only, doubt will be reduced. Till that, we sleep with doubt, eat with doubt, bathe with doubt, get up with doubt, and we are very devoted people, we are meditating when compared to the other people and other kind of thing. But the day you understand how much you are burning from both the ends because of doubt, but you represent it as, no, it is not doubt, it is inquiring mind. It is the knowledge light. So how many retreats you have to conduct in order to fight this doubt versus faith? So it's a burning question. It's a very relevant question. It's a very living question. But there is no scientific answer. Answer is aesthetic. Answer is utterly aesthetic. The day you believe, noting and knowing is the breaking of ice, groundbreaking thing, just surrender, keep on not, or keep on advert your mind, or to be in simple sense, be in here and now. The moment it become workable, it becomes substantial, it becomes verifiable to a certain extent, then you can say within your very life, within a day, certain time, you are completely in the present moment. And it is expanding so much so, you are done away with the world. As far as you are in the world, as far as you are with the past and the future, other people and other places, you are no more mindful here. So much so you are in Kama Tanha. So if the Kama Tanha is reducing, and if your mindfulness is catching, you can see it is day by day increasing. During that particular time where you are mindful, where here and now, you are choiceless to be aware, you are diligent, you have been so generous to give the whole world. You are utterly with your body. We can put it another way, as I tried to mention in the few days ago. When and where you keep your attention here and now with the body, whether you like it or not, you have given up the world. When and where you are thinking any grain about the past, future, other people and other places, you are in Kama Tanha, you are not here and now. So that you have to verify, that you have to accept at least in theoretical and go on practicing. And while you are practicing more and more, you can understand more and more you are here and now, and you can do away with the Kama Tanha. So it's a challenge. It's a homework one to do. So imagine at a time you can make a bold statement. Yesterday I had experience where I was there with the breath or the body for 10 cycles of the in-breath and out-breath. Now I can go for 10, 12, 12, 14, 20, 30, 40. And that is the indication you are doing away with Kama Tanha, and you know Avitakka Savichara Samadhi. And make whatever you can do, facilitate it to keep Savitakka Savichara Samadhi. And it is very, very physical and quantitative. First quantitative, how many breaths, how many steps, and in the day-to-day time, how much you are mindful in brushing your teeth, washing your hand, washing your dishes. And if it is increasing, more you be with your present moment, so much so you have done away with the world, done away with the past and the future. And when it is happening, the second part is its quality increases. How does that can be explained? You can express, you can describe, you can give detail of the object upon which you have applied your thought, and what did you comes to know. More and more you explain it, not only the quantity, quality increases. And later you may find, when and where you try to explain, in-breath is cooler, in-breath is longer, out-breath, when I am noting, it is shorter, warmer, it's a vibration and peace. This is the tension increasing, this is the tension reducing. Like more and more information you give, you see irrelevancy of the noting as far as you know how to pick shape and the manner, so that it's knowing. You learn the art without noting or without direct applying thoughts. You can be aware the very thing because of your familiarity, because of your preparedness, because of your past trial and error, and slowly you will report or you will understand, I can be aware of the breath without noting. I can be aware of the walking without noting, lifting, moving, dropping. Things are happening. So this is the place. Now you are not only done away with the Kama Tanha, now you are go deep, plunge into the object. Still it is neutral object, still it is repetitive object, but you know when and where necessary you can apply your thought, the vitakka. When and where necessary you can know without noting. And when that happens, you become skillful in noting and knowing, and occasionally you do without noting. Knowing can happen, And there are so much of information, so much of shapes, so much of manners, so much of sap, so much of juice you can understand. And when and where this pondering, plunging, sinking into the object happens, you can see automatically, easily mind can tolerate little sounds. Mind can tolerate little bit of astray thoughts, little bit of pains, because your mind is now plunging into, direct into, and penetrating into. More and more you penetrate, so much so, normal complaints like thinking, sounds, pains, you have done away with. And it is not there. That kind of a claim you can't make as far as you do noting and knowing. But without noting, if you plunge into, and you know this special game, special way to plunge into the object and suck the sap of the object, then you can see there are some background thoughts. But they are not intentional. They are thought without a thinker. Don't worry. And there are some sounds, they are not addressing you. So why worry? And there are some pains that indicate you are not dead. Why worry? Pains are there so that sure you are not sleeping. Why worry? Thoughts are there that indicate here and now. Pains are there. You are here and now. And meanwhile you can associate the primary object. And when that happens, it is of course, for sure, you are on insight meditation. You are on insight meditation because so much of parameters, so much of variable thing happens, and don't worry and don't report, don't note on these abstract thoughts if it is disappearing. Don't worry, don't note, don't spend your time, your pen, your paper on the sounds that is happening. If you know they are coming to disappear. And don't complain about the pain because you know they come. But still you can maintain the attention with the primary object. Then you know, by talking about the thought and pain and sound, they will be multiplied. They will be increased. And you will be harming your natural growth with the primary object. So therefore, you are learning kind of a reporting, not to fill your report with unwanted things, short to the point, short and sweet, because you know the art of explaining the primary object. Not that sounds are not there, not that thoughts are not there, not that pains are not there, but you are not reporting. This is not a brainwash. It is not a kind of just editing of your report. But you have to understand, if you are not making rooms for your mind to plunge into the primary object, and if you are occupying and reporting these thoughts and pain and kind of things specifically at that kind of a caliber, no progress. You are talking about the primary object and the secondary object. So the secondary object definitely you can do away with. So my common example is when you are driving, if there is a small pit hole, never mind, car will get the jerk and you can go. Are you going to report them? Only if it's a big hole, definitely you will take a turn and avoid it. Otherwise you know the shock absorbers can't maintain it, take it. Imagine a big, huge breaking of the road, then you have to get down and fill it, and then only you can cross. So likewise, in that sense, you have to get your shoes off and get out and do, yes. But if it's just pit hole and kind of thing, and if you are going to talk about them, you will never make the journey. So they are, at the bhavatanha level, you see all the destroying, destructive challenges are there, but they are waiting at the threshold. They are not inside, they are not coming in, but they are ever challenging, but you know how to maintain the game and go little bit of depth of your primary object, little bit more time with the primary object, so much so you must do away with the distractions, and that is the way the positive thinking. Not that negative things are not available, they are there, And you have to learn, whenever you take time about studying them, talking them and reporting them, it's a fertilizing them. It is a feeding them. And not talking about them, but plunging into the primary object, no one is there to advise you. You must go prepared. It's ever challenge. So when it is going there, no noting, but knowing happens, so much so you know not only the primary object, lot of other objects are there, but thoughts are there without a thinker. Sounds are there, not addressing you. Pains are there, still you can maintain the primary object. And if you know this is the result of your meditation, if you know this advancement of your meditation, and if you wish to facilitate it, still see to observe the primary object more closely and thoroughly from the beginning to the middle to the end, and get as much as possible information and add into your report. Moment you communicate, you get utterly charged, just like a car battery. It gets fully charged when the engine is running. Battery get charged when the car is running. Likewise, you understand, not that you do completely crush off the defilements, but you do not second defilements. They come and suggest, but you are not seconding. You try to be with the primary object. And that is what we call the management. That is what you call the priority selection. If you being a manager, if you do not know how to select the priority, you are utter waste. And this is what happened in the present day in the institutes. And this is what happened in the present day family running. The main person who should take care, he don't care about the main thing, and he is talking about the trivial thing. The Buddha mentioned arati. Arati means you are hesitant to do the utmost, so you forego the utmost and do trivial things. And present day Buddhist world, we have for the lay people, the 3 ways to earn merits. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. And everyone is utterly engaged in dana. And they claim we are the Sinhalese nation, is the only nation, we are so helpful, the newcomers, and feeding other people. Yes. But offering such a huge lump of rice just like this mountain, Buddha says 1 split second of maintaining of the morality, giving more merits. But no one believes. Maybe believing, but they are not doing. They do the trivial things in the presence of even the good. So therefore, whenever there is a good and the better, if you do not know how to facilitate better because of your goodness, that is, weakness is your goodness. That is the way, it is the best way you can present. Your whole goodies are utter block to Nibbana. Your goodies make you arrogant. You are never innocence. So therefore, the day you give all the goodies and be here and now, that is what I mean by innocence. And that is also not happening 100% in one night or overnight one city. Day by day, forget about your all this, the abilities and merits and kind of thing. To be here and now, nothing concerned. So this arati, that means do the, in the presence of better, don't waste time on good. Just go to better. And that's a very good way to select a good friend, a noble friend. Because all the people are pulling you down to do these good things in the presence of better. And they are the utter misleaders. And you too, please, don't prescribe others. When there's a good and the better, don't prescribe people for the good. Then you also become a ignoble person. This is what you do out of compassion. To make the life easier, we prescribe good, knowing the better is there. I don't know. By looking at your faces, I find you are completely bewildered. Anyway, I am continuing. Because you people are good people. That is your worst thing. Sorry to say. But sasana means always you have the good and the better. When you go to the better, it will become good, another better will appear. And that is how the refinement happens. So therefore, when and where you know how to deal with the primary object, in order to plunge into, don't worry about the peripheral things, secondary objects, don't note. Even without noting the primary object, be with the, try to get the maximum knowing. And then you find once the karma tanha, the sensuous impingement and the sense-related objects are being tackled, now your mind is qualified to do it. Under such circumstances, still you are noting the small thoughts, small pains, small sounds, you are again going to get related with your senses. You are degrading yourself. It is very frictional. It's abrasive. So therefore you must understand the least frictional path and be ready for knowing without noting. And when it happens, you can see the quality of the object or the proximity to the object is increasing. That means zoom in, it's happening. Ultimately you find the object is no more an object. Everywhere you find the space. The breath becomes subtle and subtlest. Ultimately it is just waves. It is just particles. It is just tension and movements. But there is no object as such. That means a boundary disappears. Boundary of in and out disappears. Me and not me disappears. Primary object and the secondary object disappears. And when that happens, your value system or your likings and disliking are utterly challenged. So when it is happening, if you go prepared, so to say that even for a person like me, meditation is working. Our perception is now slowly losing its value. And whatever the object you look and when you plunge into, when penetrate into, object is no more object. For example, from here you can see dark clouds or very thick cloud. But if you go into this cloud with the plane, nothing to hit. It is just a mist. And when you are traveling to Nuvareli area, at the Ram border, a lot of misty. So people, those who do not know the area, they wait till the mist disappears. They stop the car and wait. It never disappears. There is no end to it. Only what you have to do is run in a slow speed, nothing hitting. You can go through it. So likewise, when you go closer, when you are associating immediately, it's completely different from the superficial association. Any object. Any object. And this is, we are talking with respect to the neutral object, repetitive object. So whenever that object is changing the shape, whenever the object is changing the nature, changing the manners, if you are threatening it, or if you get challenged, or if you get worked up, that means you are not cope up with your advancement, cope up with your cutting off of defilement. Ultimately your arrogance or your unskillfulness is the only distraction. So what you can do is doing nothing. Don't block it. Just let go. And when it's happening, the very object that you see as the three-dimensional, solid, concrete, now you see it is see-through. It's like a mist. And you have to understand this is what the impermanent notion or changing nature. Shapes are changing. Manners are changing. So if you are not fixing at the beginning the shape and the manners, relatively you can understand how the shapes are changing, how the manners are changing. So therefore at the beginning, noting and knowing, you fix it. Breath is long, in-breath is cooler, out-breath is warmer, shorter, tension increasing, tension reducing. When and where the in-breath and out-breath is losing its the character, the shape and the manner, you see both of them appear like equal. It is not a mistake of your meditation. It is not a mistake of your mindfulness, but it's advancement. Now they are losing their characters. Ultimately they are not going to nothingness, but they go to the common characters, just particles, just energy, just waves, just a flux, just a continuity. And when it happens, for you to facilitate it, you have to understand that is what you call the bhavatanha. Still it is continuity is there, and you can see breath becomes subtle. In-breath and out-breath appear equal. Boundaries are slowly disappearing. While walking also, you know you are walking, but you don't know which leg, left leg or right leg. Lifting, moving, dropping, everything come into the same holistic thing. But you sure, you know I am not sitting, walking is happening. And when you are day-to-day brushing, you know once you give the order, action is happening. It is no much of a effort. Effortlessly things are happening. That means more and more your egotistic idea disappears. The universal law is working. And when and where you see this effortless, that's utterly you have done away with the frustration. Utterly you have done away with the tension. You feel like a child. And that is the where places, where area, no noting but knowing. Still you can see the disappearing breath. You can see the disappearing in the breath out, rising and falling. The disappearing the steps. And if you continue, ultimately the whole shape and manners disappears, and you say that I am going to a non-material kind of area or space, or no memory, no perception. And when you go there, if you are developing doubts, you utterly feel lonely. If you are not developing doubt but go prepared, it is called what you call the much sorted aloneness. Aloneness is there, contentment is there. And when you go there, you can understand your misperception, your perversion or your cheating nature is the only one disturbing the meditation. So when and where you learn not to harm or do away with your the volitional activation, observe it, this calm state is not so far away. So therefore 3 stages, cross breath, medium breath and no breath like kind of a situation, they are stages. The Buddha mentioned, when and where a defilement is manifesting, it manifests with the materiality. It manifests with the feeling. It manifests with the perception. It manifests with the volitional activity. It manifests with this and me and not me kind of discrimination. Whenever the defilements are disappearing, the concrete nature of the object is becoming volatile. Your feelings less and less. Your perception become unperceivable. Your volitional activities not necessary. Volitional activity appear negative and objects, the common character appears. So when such objects are disappearing, that means disappearance of the defilements. So you know what to facilitate. And slowly you can go, but your rational mind or doubtful mind always blocking it. It never appreciate the disappearing object, or at least whenever the object completely disappeared, if you are with the wrong perception, you feel lonely. You feel like forced breathing. You feel like it's doubtful. It's fearful or boring. Whatever maybe manifestation can happen. So therefore not a single person can have this correct perception in the first ever incident. Each and every person understands through trial and error. So when it is disappearing, how to facilitate, how to be with it, if you are in the correct view, outset, you will never ask then what kind of a question, because you appreciate it is a kind of thing, something I earn, so I have to familiarize it. Let it happen. It be the second nature. As long as possible, because you are with the least amount of defilements. You have done in this very life. Only through with noting and knowing. And without noting, knowing, now you go to the understanding. Under such circumstances, don't worry about the next. What you have earned itself is a substantial thing. Only thing is familiarization. Only thing is mastering of that. So basic contribution you can do is, don't ask questions. Asking question is an utter indication of doubt and fear, uncertainty. Not that I am discouraging, not that I am happy that when the Lakshmi is telling today only 2 questions. Oh, Lakshmi is telling, no, Bhante, today we have 12 questions. That is not I am telling. So asking question leading nowhere, because you are already in question. Understand, it's a question. Who the hell can answer? No one. Moment you understand, yes, question is there, then what? Then you know not to express it, not to verbalize it, not to facilitate it, and then next moment, another fresh thought moment. So if you think that after answering this question, the next moment only be a fresh moment, no, whether you answered or not, next moment is a fresh. So to be prepared, you have to appreciate there is a certain amount of background or macroclimate must be little conducive. That is why the Buddha is asking us, make the mind sometimes theoretically free of gross defilements and let mind to understand this frictionless thought moment or endless thought moment or this free situation is always there. As far as the distractions are there, you are bewildered. So do reductionism. Reduce the one by one the distractions, and then you can understand that each and every moment is there, but it's clouded and puddled and muddled due to these gross things. But gross thing really can't destroy it. Gross thing only can gloss over them. So the day you learn how to see through this gross thing, the calmness is always there. So first you try to get rid of as much as possible and let the mind to experience this objectiveless or without noting or effortless, this solitude. It's a kind of a vacuum. It's a kind of a space. And if you think that is Nibbana, I am sorry, it is not Nibbana. It's a way understanding. Your mind is so powerful. If you know noting and knowing, by using them you can cut through and go into that. But that is not the normal life. It's a experimental situation in the laboratory. And then you have to understand having that. And still you have some defilements, that means little bit of sounds and little bits of pain. But still don't worry about it. Just see, just believe, just try to familiarize this free, or to say the frictionless area, so always there. And that is the human right. That's a birthright. But our storytelling, our fabrication is always with materiality, always with the sensuous pleasure. So therefore, when we are associating that kind of people, your head gets split. But these people are always storytelling, always fabricating. And the Nobel Prizes are giving for the best novel, and give the best teledrama, and the best news article. So you also chasing behind how to get a Nobel Prize, or at least another prize. So much so you are just wasting the present precious here and now situation. So therefore, when it is happening, the relationship between Savitakka Savichara Samadhi and the Kamatanha, Avitakka Vichara Samadhi with this Bhavatanha, and Avitakka Vichara Samadhi with the Vibhava tanha, there's a very nice parallelism. It is not exactly the same, but it is giving so much of encouragement. So whenever kama tanha available, don't use other techniques. It is not working. You have to understand what is appropriate to the kama tanha. Once it is finished, not the problem is finished. You go to the second stage. And there another answer. And then you can go to the third one. And again, after that, kama tanha again appear again. To test it, whether you know how to, whether you understand kama tanha as kama tanha and apply it. So likewise, the development is in the spiral way. Once it happened, if you are going to say, no, I got the first jhana and I got the first maggapala and all the kind of talking, and next day you have to commit suicide. Because other people look at you as a fool. Because it is not an overnight situation. It is repetitively it is happening. When it is happening, the spiral kind of a development, we can't predict. Because it is not in the lenient system. But more and more you practice, there's a kind of a sixth sense understanding. Defilements are reducing, again coming, again reducing, again coming, again reducing, again coming. So understand there's a cause and effect relationship. It is not my wish. It is not my will. And let it happen. No harm. Because you are utterly with your own utter burning problem. So as far as you are vigilant, as far as you are diligent, you are mastering. You are developing the familiarity, and for any kind of thing, you stop it and go into the rational thinking and applying that theory and its theory or deductive thinking. This is the worst thing you can do. Rather than just be face to face with it and to understand it is happening by its own accord and it is happening through cause and effect relationship, and there are reciprocal relationships. Don't recognize with them. Don't claim it. Disavow it. Disclaim it. But utterly observe it. That observation you can't do as far as kama tanha is there. You can't do it, no use, as far as bhava tanha is there. You have to observe it as a vibhava tanha. It's a very subtle form. It's called flux. It's called kind of a frothing, kind of proliferation. It's happening, just observe it. Sometimes it appears like a very boring, it's abrasive and sometimes suffering. So you see, why should I worry? It is not me, it is not mine, it is not myself. It's not governable, it is there. But as far as it is there, you are vigilant. You are mindful. But observation itself is not happy. It is not kind of a pleasant thing. But even though it is unpleasant, observation is due to your effort. So, more and more you familiarize it, more and more be with it. Not that one can assure you are in the highest happiness, but one can easily say, no, I am not accumulating bad defilements or karmic forces. Thought moment is pure. Your past karmic forces come and do some kind of a thing, but you, we can say you are up to the time. You are tit to tat with the time. You earn the moment, and therefore first you must learn how to familiarize it, and definitely you will complain what you are observing is something a flux. What you are observing is something aberration, something unsatisfactory. So it is like when you are making a wheel. So you have to run the wheel, you have to mount the wheel on the axle. Whether vehicle is running or not, the friction between the axle and the wheel, you have to imagine. Whether wheel is rotating or not, it's the axle and the wheel is a holding it with utter pressure. This is what you call the life. The axle is called akka in Pali. And the suffering also called dukkha. The dukkha and the axle and the wheel is the same. When you are running, more wear and tear. But even whole stand still, that suffering is there. If you are aware of that suffering, that's the main thing in the early part of our meditative life. So when and where you see it, and if you facilitate it and familiarize it and master, that is what we call the samadhi or radical reflection. Even if you earn and if you hate, this is telling still it is abrasive, still it is friction, then that means you are not mature enough, but the meditation is correct. One day you have to mature. Hope while we are talking 10 days like this, you will be mature in time to come. So that's all I would like to share today with you in terms of Dhamma talk. Thank you very much for listening.